All right, so we're back together again. We left off at Proverbs
Garbage
26.
can. We'll
Or
just
no,
put a
is that
pair of
right?
glasses go.
Yes, 26. So we're going to be no, is it 26? Yes. Nope, that's wrong.
Glasses go. What? Glasses.
25. Left off at 25. And this is a really a transition as we head into this chapter because this is as it starts at the beginning saying these are more proverbs from King Solomon copied by the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah. So these are an additional gathering of proverbs that we find. Remember, we had to jump over from a gathering of other folks. Now we're coming back to Solomon. Now I'll start off. We're going to start off with verse 2 because I'm going to make this comment about verse 1. There are two things that are important here. These are more Psalms. So you've got the King Hezekiah has obviously ordered his men to gather the Proverbs of Solomon. So Hezekiah came along 250 to 300 years after
I was
Solomon.
gonna say it's way after Solomon's
Yeah.
gone.
So
So
this is telling us that
I'm
this is
sorry, where
telling
are we?
verse 1,
25.
25. Yep. So
Okay.
this is telling us that the words of Solomon and the importance of the wisdom of Solomon is important to the kingdom, or regarded as important to the kingdom, because Hezekiah is the king, and he is telling his court men to find these proverbs, track them down, and compile them for him. That there is a value then for the people that this is held in high regard. So it's a wonderful witness that not only of Solomon's words, but that they remain important and worthy of the king who's going to be getting them together. This is not some byproduct like I found this book in the closet, let's read it. This is something that is a state matter for the people to get behind. All right, so who wants to begin? We'll read. This actually goes in clumps as I read it. I think it goes in clumps. I tried to put a little tick beside the things which I think they may
And they're
be,
like two verse
yeah, 3, 4 verses.
things.
They have different, in fact, 11 through
Oh
15
yeah,
was my.
some are.
So we'll just read like 3 or 4 at a time, and I'm going to give them a little straight up. So um, really 1 through 5 are the same thing. So who wants to read 1 through 5?
I will.
Okay.
To conceal a matter, this is the glory of God. To sift it thoroughly, the glory of kings. High though the heavens are, deep the earth, there is no fathoming the heart of kings. From silver remove the dross, and it emerges wholly purified. From the king's presence remove the wicked, and on virtue his throne is founded.
Okay. So this is anybody want to take a stab at it? Did it hit you anything confusing or want to elaborate on something?
It starts out confusing.
Okay.
Um, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of
Mhm.
kings is to search out a matter. Um, so it's the glory of God to keep secrets.
Yes.
Yeah, God hides it, it's hid.
I don't get that because one of the things that about Christianity is that it's all right out there for you to see. There's no secret knowledge
Yes, there is an
unless you're agnostic.
right. There is, but there isn't, but there is, because like Jesus said, he said, Father, I find it as a blessing that you concealed this from the wise and you gave it to the humble. So what Jesus was saying is the same thing that's happening here, that God has put God's glory and God's person and God's purpose and God's intention in plain sight. But you have to search the understanding of God in order to find it and understand it. We approach God as us. We're not gonna understand it. We have to let ourselves go and listen to what God's saying. Like I like you know mint ice cream. That's my preference. I like it. And if you tell me that you like, caramel chip, I'm going to say that's great. But mint ice cream is really the better one because it's just the better one. And
Red is
that's it,
bigger than blue.
right? Because that's what I want and it's what I like. So, but to have the wisdom is to go back and find out that, the content of the two ice creams is the same. The nutritional value is the same. Everything about it is the same. The only difference is the flavor. So the wisdom is that mint ice cream is not better than caramel ice cream. In fact, this points to the complexity of the human taste system and the preferences of individuals. So that would be a wise answer. The unwise answer is that mint ice cream is better than caramel ice cream, because that's my opinion. So what God has done is God has made the sophistication of God's word easy to understand, but you have to get rid of the self and go to God in order to understand it. So what they're saying here is, as Jesus said, the glory of God, the matters of God are concealed, because if we come to God as us, we're not going to understand it. We're gonna label God us. We're going to put ourselves on God. But the search out the matters, the glory of the kings. This is the compliment, like for Hezekiah, that Hezekiah is saying, I'm a king and I don't know everything. I know I don't know everything. That's the wisdom. And so I'm going to turn to God and understand God through God's revelation. So I'm amassing the wisdom of Solomon. To understand the words, the purpose and words of God, we have to go to the purpose and words of God.
That doesn't, well, maybe I'm being thick or something right now, but that doesn't seem to, it doesn't seem to follow.
How not?
Well,
How
think
not?
about the second coming. We can't know it. It isn't, it's God's thing. It's
Mhm.
completely hidden.
Right,
There's all these clues, but the truth, meh.
right,
Um, on the other hand, to if you're the king, you can ask the questions, you can figure it out, you can get all the sides to do all their things so that you have all the information to work from.
right.
That's a wise ruler
Yeah.
that's listening.
I was in a small group, an impromptu group about 2 weeks ago, and I had a very exciting conversation with a lady who was very bold, and I liked that a lot. And she just came out and she said, "Can I? You're a priest?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Absolutely." So I think she's going to say, what does Psalm 31 mean when it says that kind of question? And she goes, "I've looked into different religions, and I like." Buddhism is really great, but I understand, there's a lot of Christians, more Christians, and I think Christianity is pretty stupid because if this is a God, he just like let himself be killed. So what's the big deal? I mean, why do you want that? So she's looking at it from an earthly perspective.
Right.
God's sacrifice in Christ is in plain sight. It's right there. But to understand it, it seems to be hidden. It's a mystery to the people who don't choose to look deeper than their own limited perspective. She decided that it's all about a guy who let himself be killed by a bunch of other people. So there's no understanding in her mind of salvation, of sanctification, of sacrifice, of
She
the forgiveness of sins.
didn't
That's
even read the cliff notes.
no.
Yeah, I had somebody, my sister was telling me about a Native American who was, uh, telling her the differences between their faith and Christianity. And I can't remember what they said about their faith, but what they said about Christianity was, and you guys killed your God.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so they don't get it, they don't get it.
Right.
And um, but yeah, that part I can see. But
Yeah.
it still seems, it seems like it's poorly worded to me. It doesn't say what it means, I think.
Well, it's like when you go to
And
the
I'm not sure that I
gospel.
understand what it means yet.
Like in the gospel, Jesus said, "I thank you that you did not reveal this to the wise." Right. So what he's saying is that it's in order to come to me, you have to come to me. You can't stand back over there and say, "I know God," because I read this thing on a matchbook, little prayer on a matchbook. Now I understand God. That there is the complexity of God's presence, purpose, just the sacrifice of God on the cross. To learn about that is to enter into a communion with God, where God's intention, God's self, because God's in the Word, is revealed through the inquiry. And as God's revealed to me through the inquiry, I grow closer to God. The closer I get to God, the more God is revealed through inquiry.
So it's basically, it's not saying that there are secrets, or secrets per se, but you have to go to God uh, to understand the secrets,
to get them. They're
Yeah.
not hanging out like,
to understand the principles.
Yeah.
Um, and
I think it's really pointing
Okay.
out human nature. Like when your kids did something wrong and they just did it and you're like, why did you do that? And it may be because you're teaching a lesson, or it may be genuine. Robert or Philip did something and you really don't understand why they did it. So to really understand what they did, their idea, their purpose, their intention, you have to ask them and then get involved in their answer. If you can stand off way over here and say, I know why he did it. He did that. So since he did that, he needs to be punished.
he
Well,
did that because he wasn't thinking.
right.
you have no idea the
but
reasons my children did. You have no idea what they did.
well,
There was no acting. We're going, say what?
the,
And
the relationship is the intentions about the same. If I want to inquire of my child why I did this, why they did this
that's
thing,
right.
so I can understand my child better, I'm entering into that relationship deeper with my child to have my child explain that. I'm not just standing over here and making a pronouncement about why they did it from over here. It's the same thing with the scripture. God is simply saying that I've done this thing, and for you to understand it, it's concealed to you right now. Why Robert did a thing he did was concealed to you. You don't know why he did it. You just
He
know he
doesn't
did
know
it.
why he did it.
Yeah,
No? So you have to,
frequently.
so you have to get into ask him the question and understand his logic or his point of view or why he did it. If you don't, then you'll never know.
Okay,
Your
and the
idea of why he did it will just be your idea. That's all it is. It's nothing to do with Robert. So that's all this is saying. That's what Jesus is
okay,
saying. You know,
okay, we'll
or
go
you
with
get
that.
or you get the lady in the parking lot. She heard that Jesus died on the cross. She hasn't read anything. She hasn't entered it into the book. She hasn't asked anybody any depth of questions. In fact, when I tried to give her a depth of question, she wouldn't listen. She turned away. So she standing where she is in her life with what she likes and what she doesn't like and what she thinks and what she doesn't think, she looks out at Jesus and said, well, that's really stupid because this guy proclaimed himself God and then got himself killed on the cross. That's really dumb. So it's concealed to her. God's purpose, intention, the sacrifice, salvation is all concealed to her. It doesn't mean anything because she's looking from her perspective. She is refusing to enter into a relationship to understand why God did what God did. That's it. And think about all of the Pharisees and Sadducees that came to Jesus. They didn't ask him questions to find out an answer. They asked him questions because they knew the answer and they wanted to prove that he was stupid and he didn't know the answer. His answer they weren't going to listen to, and they didn't. They refused to. So he made fools of them all the time. And they got madder and madder and madder at him because they kept trying to trick him because they knew the answer, and his answer always was bigger and better and stronger than theirs. And it made them look small and stupid. So they got mad at him. And instead of listening to him and going, wow, this guy is so smart, he said something about the scripture that I never even thought about. And I've been studying it for 50 years. Instead of doing that, they said, wow, we got to shut this guy up because he made me look foolish. So they're not the mystery of scripture remained hidden to them. The mystery of God's purpose remained hidden because they would not listen. It's concealed. Isn't that what we say? The mystery of God walking on earth right in front of them, speaking and doing miracles is concealed to them because they will not see. So Jesus said, you will not understand this. Will be the mystery to you unless you have eyes to see and ears to hear, which is the wisdom to open yourself up to the purpose of God, not your thought about God. It's quite profound when you think about it. It's from a psychological or psych counseling perspective, this is exactly what your counselor tells you when you go in to get counseling. You're looking at the world from your standpoint. You've got to get back up and put yourself as a player in the picture instead of being the one who is directing the picture. then you'll be able to understand. That's why some people say the Bible is the best psych manual ever written. All right, let's see. So we know this. So we get the kings are searching it out because they've got the power. This is a person that, remember, the kings in the theocracy, which is what the Israel is, the kings are supposed to be the men blessed by God, just like the divine right of kings that we had in the Middle Ages. These are men, these are the people, Saul was chosen by God. The people wanted a king, so God chose Saul. God wanted a king. People wanted a king, so God chose David. God chose Solomon. So these people are chosen by God and have wisdom of God. So Hezekiah is saying, I have wisdom. I'm chosen by God to be the king, and I'm showing you I have wisdom by deferring to Solomon. And I'm bringing Solomon forward to teach you and show you what is right and good and true. So it's pretty smart. He's showing his wisdom by bringing Solomon back. Remove the dross from the silver and come out comes out material for the silversmith. Remove the wicked from the king's presence, and his throne will be established through righteousness. It's really the same thing, saying that if the king is wise and showing wisdom, then he will know when the people that are around him are misleading him, are directing him down the primrose path, as they used to say. So that's there is an intentionality and an effort that goes forth in order to do this. You don't just sit back and take the words of the one next to you because they were the court advisor that you inherited from the last king. The king has got to participate in his own process of wisdom and rule. All right, how about 6 through 10?
I will read it.
Okay.
Claim no honor in the king's presence, nor occupy the place of great men. For it is better that you be told, come up closer, than that you be humbled before the prince. What your eyes have seen bring not forth hastily against an opponent. For what will you do later on when your neighbor puts you to the shame? Discuss your case with your neighbor, but another man's secret do not disclose, lest hearing it he reproach you, and your ill repute cease not.
Any of that sound familiar?
Yeah, wasn't that the gospel a couple weeks back?
Yes.
6 and 7?
Yep. It's gospel, Luke 14, 1 through 8 through 11. And that's the beginning of it. The second part is Matthew 25. When Jesus talks and they're about taking your neighbor to court. He says, stop before you do that and talk and see if through wisdom and consideration, you don't go to court. Because if you go to court, what you're saying, either one of you or both of you are saying that you don't have wisdom and you cannot find common ground. You cannot understand what you're doing. You're just putting yourself against the other. So that's Luke 14 and Matthew 25, also Matthew 23, which is the other time that Jesus taught about taking places of honor and then being humiliated by being caught in that place. So these verses 6 through 10 are really about just humility, being humble.
Know your place.
Know your place. All right, 11 through 15.
Okay, I'll do that. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold and settings of silver. Like an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is the wise rebuker to an obedient car. What? Obedient ear. Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him, for he refreshes the soul of his masters. Whoever falsely boasts of giving is like clouds and wind without rain. By long forbearance is a ruler is persuaded, and a gentle tongue breaks a bone. Like sticks and stones.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
Like apples of gold in a silver setting is a
Nice.
word that is aptly spoken.
Very nice.
Gold Ring, an ornament of finest gold, is a wise rebuke to an attentive ear.
Yeah. And there you go. So it's a wise rebuke to an attentive ear. So it's saying that the thing that you're saying I don't want to hear. You're rebuking me. You're telling me I'm wrong. You're telling me that I don't understand and I should stop talking until I do. And I don't want to hear that. You're making me mad. But if it's true, and if I'm humble, what comes before it, then I will see it as being true. And then I will take what you said not as something mean, but something wonderful. Because now I can overcome that. I can find humility or my own wisdom. I can learn more and then be able to be a part of it. Coolness of soul. Go ahead.
Oh, whoever falsely boasts of giving is like clouds and wind without rain, tale told by an idiot.
Yeah.
Full of sound and fury signifying nothing.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
That's my favorite quote from Shakespeare. That's the only one I ever remember.
So again, this is a continuation, extenuation of being humble in self, but then in some 6 through 10 is humble in self. How do I see myself? How I see myself is reflected in how I put myself into the seat of honor or into the seat of the last person in line. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is that place where now that I see myself in this way, how do I interact with the world? And if I'm humble, truly humble, then an interaction with a rebuke is a good thing. And it doesn't even have to be said by somebody who's being nice to me. If what they said is true, if I hear it for what it really is, then I can take the comments of the person who's being mean and be thankful. All right. How about 16 through 20?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Eat to your satisfaction what honey you may find, but not to excess, or you will bring it up again. Do not set foot too often in your neighbor's house for fear he tires of you and comes to hate you. A mace, a sword, a keen arrow, such as the man who bears false witness against his neighbor. Decaying tooth, lame foot, such as the fickle man when trusted in time of trouble. As well take off your coat in bitter weather. It is to treat a wound with vinegar, to sing songs to a sorrowing heart.
There you go.
There's
So
16
just
to-
this is just these are just fall into the category of just practical advice. This is just practical advice. If you eat too much honey, you're going to throw up. And if you eat too much honey and you throw up, what have you really ultimately done? You've wasted good honey.
Made your neighbor
Yeah.
hate you. Made your neighbor hate you.
Took something
Yeah.
wonderful and made yourself sick.
Right. And honey doesn't taste good coming up. So the wonderful, nice flavor in your mouth is not going to be replaced with something horrible and bitter and nasty. A club or a sword or a sharp arrow is the man who gives false testimony against his neighbor. So the club or the sword or the sharp arrow are intended for submission. They're intended to hurt, to injure, to force. So this is the man who gives false testimony. His false testimony is intended to hurt and to destroy, to break down. Like a bad tooth or a lame foot is reliance on the unfaithful in times of trouble. Yeah, so you don't want either one of those if you're in trouble. You can't eat, you can't get around. Don't depend on that. Takes away a garment on a cold day like vinegar poured on a soda is the one who sings songs to heavy heart. So these, just back to it saying this is practical advice. If you recognize the good for the good and the ill for the ill, again, I mean, this is taking it to the point where, but that's Uncle Tony. Uncle Tony's a great guy. I love Uncle Tony. He's fantastic. And other people going, well, Uncle Tony is a drunk and a liar, and you don't want to hang out with him. But he tells us funny stories, and he's terrific. Well, if you hang out with him, it's going to come back at you because if you depend on him, it's going to be bad business. And you find your cousin, or you find a guy 3 years later, and he's saying, "Well, what happened to Uncle Tony?" So I don't know what happened to Uncle Tony. He stole all my money, and he left. I'm sure he's drunk somewhere. So you take the advice from the people for what's good, and you stop putting your wants and desires ahead of what's good and true. All right, 21 through 25.
Alrighty, my turn. If your enemy be hungry, give him food to eat. If he be thirsty, give him to drink. For live coals you will heap on his head, and the Lord will vindicate you. The north wind brings rain, and a backbiting tongue and angry countenance. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than in a roomy house with a quarrelsome woman. Like cool water to
Again.
one faint from thirst is good news from a far country.
Yeah. More practical advice. I put this section as insights. This is more the insight. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he's thirsty, give him water to drink. Does that sound familiar?
My
I
grandmother
hear
used to always talk about, be nice. You'll put heaping coals on his head.
Yep.
Be nice. And that's
Yep.
gone out of the common vernacular, I think.
It really has. It's a good one that we've lost, like so many good ones. When I hear this, and I remember hearing it when I was a kid too. Now I hear it. I hear Jesus in a couple different places in Scripture. One of them is, when I was thirsty, when did you give me something to drink? And when I was hungry, why did you give me something to eat? And when I was in prison, why didn't you come visit me? So he's saying that you're the person who didn't do these things is not listening to God, not relying upon God. They are angry at this person. This person's an enemy. They are somebody not worth helping. And who's decided that? Well, you have. You've decided it. But God didn't say that. God's not saying that at all. God's saying this person is worthy of having water and food and being visited because I made them and I love them. And if you're about me, you're doing my will, then you're going to overcome your perspective and your disdain, and you're going to help them. Then I hear the second part of that is Jesus saying to the Pharisees, and this one we've been saying over and over because it keeps coming back in this the like in the Scripture. You've heard it said, "Love your friends and hate your enemies," and I say, "Love your enemies and pray for them." So you're not doing, if you love your friends and you hate your enemies, you're doing the same thing your enemy's doing. You might as well be your enemy. You're no better than the one that you say is bad, which means, oh my gosh, you're bad, right? So to be better from the one who's bad, we have to go outside of our system and look for the system that is overshadows it and can break it or is more powerful than it. So that system for us as people of faith is God. God says, no, you hate this person because you are sinful. You're broken. You hate them because you're little. And you say you love me and I'm big. So you need to get out of your little system and be in my big system, and then you will love them through me. Yeah. As the north wind brings rain, so this is just a likeness. The north wind, apparently here, the north wind does bring rain. That's what it does. So what it does here, a sly tongue brings angry looks. So you're not going to win people and make friends. The sly tongue is a tongue that has ulterior motives. It's a tongue that, it's a politician that guards their words and never says anything of substance so they can hold back. And then when they do the thing that's wrong, and they get questions, they can say, I never said anything. I never said that. I can't stand it. I know we can't stand it. It's a joke forever. It's worse now than ever it was before. The absolute no answer from politicians when they're asked questions point blank. This will not answer. It's almost, well, I'd say it's an art form, but that is a compliment. It's just evil. It's deception on an epic scale because while they are deceiving, apparently everybody is hearing the deception and hearing truth. Like they answered the question and they don't. So that's what this is. Better to live on the corner of a roof than share the house with a quarrelsome woman. Ooh, man. I don't know. Don't want to dig too deep into that one, I guess. I'm going to leave that there. Like a cold water and a weary soul is good news from the distant land. Cold water on a weary soul is good news from a distant land. I like the imagery. I love the imagery. Um, okay, so let's do 24. I was just kidding. It doesn't have to be, of course, for equality's purposes. It doesn't have to be a woman. It can be a man. Woman living on the corner of the roof for a quarrelsome man. Quarrelsome is the key to this verse. Not wife or husband, not child or friend. It is the word quarrelsome. Quarrelsome, in its definition here in the Hebrew, is basically somebody who argues for argument's sake. If you argue for argument's sake, there's no reasoning with you. Every reason I give you, every fact I put before you, every positive affect that I can show you, you will twist into something else because that's what you want to do. You're not seeking the truth. You're not seeking companionship. You're not seeking congeniality. You're seeking the fight. That's all it is. So go hide. Go hide in the corner of the roof because you'll get nowhere in this. It'll just tear you down. Okay, 26 through the end, 26 through 28. Just two little tiny verses.
Is it my turn?
I think it's
It might
Steve's.
be. A turned up spring, a fountain fouled, such as the virtuous man trembling before the wicked. It is not good to eat too much honey, or to be taken in by fawning words. An open town and without defenses, such as the man lacking self-control.
Pretty clear. I like getting back to the honey.
Well, yeah, 27 goes back to 16.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that my verse 26 is like a muddied spring or a polluted well is the righteous man who goes back to the way of the wicked. So the springs is supposed to be clean. I mean, it's a spring. So it's still a spring. It's springing, right? The well is still welling, but it's both of these things as a good thing. The spring is a good thing and the well is a good thing, have now been corrupted. And they were and should be one thing, and they are now made into something else. So the righteous man is his own worst, this person who's doing this, who's going back to his own worst enemy. He was righteous. He was the clean spring. He was the pure watered well, and he has gone and corrupted himself. And you can't drink out of a corrupted well or out of a muddy spring, so it's worth nothing. It's not good to eat much honey. 16. And then my second half of that one is, nor is it honorable to seek one's own honor. So this is really the full bag, right? It's pulling us back to the series of humility, and then taking on the attributes of humility, like a city whose walls are broken down, the man who lacks self-control. So for that one, it's looking into the self again. I have got to know that I don't have self-control in order to get self-control. And self-control, since I know I don't have it, has got to come from someplace else. So the one who knows that they are not wise and they don't understand have to know that in order to gain wisdom and begin understanding. Introspection. Those are about introspection. All right, 26. We're rolling. Let's see. 14. Who wants to read 1 through 5 of 26? I think that's you, Steve.
Okay. As snow in summer and rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool. Like a flitting arrow, like a flying swallow, so a curse without cause shall not alight. A whip for a horse, bridle for the donkey, a rod for the fool's back, and a rod for the fool's back. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. Did you want me to go to 6?
Nope, that's it.
No, it's
Okay.
different.
Yep. It changes over from 6 to 12 and then from 13 to 17. So yeah, this is all about fools, what a fool is, and how not only what a fool is, but how you respond to a fool. You don't do a fool any favor by pretending that they're right and helping them think they are. That doesn't do any good. I think you all have, but I've seen that firsthand and just recently. For someone who wants to be nice, they're trying to be nice. So they are saying, "Oh, wow, that's something. Wow, that's great." And the person is completely wrong, saying the wrong thing. So when they left, that person felt like they were really smart and exonerated, and they were going to go and continue to say that to everybody. And the sad thing is that they may go home and tell their kids, and their kids will believe it because the parents told them that's the way it is. So you've got a wrong perpetuating a wrong when you had the chance to do something about it. So for the wise person who comes across that and doesn't do something about it, that's the place where you have the opportunity for introspection. So I walk away from that encounter and say, why didn't I say something? We do that all the time. Why didn't I say something? Well, there's no wisdom in that at all unless you answer the question. We don't usually answer the question. We ask it. Oh my gosh, why didn't I say something? Oh, well, let's get something to eat. I've got to say, why didn't I say something? And then go into my mind and figure out why I didn't say something. And that's where the wisdom comes in. Because when I do that, I'll realize where I need work. Right? Did not answer a fool, grades 5. Okay. 6 through 9. 6 through 12. I think it is. 6 through 12. Who's up? Sue.
Alrighty. He cuts off his feet. He drinks down violence, who sends messages by a fool. A proverb in the mouth of a fool hangs limp like crippled legs. Like one who entangles the stone in the sling is he who gives honor to a fool. Like a thorn stick brandished by the hand of a drunkard is a proverb in the mouth of fools. Like an archer wounding all who pass by is he who hires a drunk fool. As the dog returns to his vomit, so the fool repeats his folly. You see a wise man in his own eyes. There is more hope for a fool than for him.
There you go. Dang. That was a lot. So yeah, the repetition here, I think we get it, don't we? Is it he's really piling it on to let you know. I mean, I thought about this several times and I read it over and I'm thinking, was there a problem in Solomon's time of people that were building up fools, that were making fools believe that they were right, and it was turning out badly? Because this is a lot. This is really telling you to be aware of these people and giving them really poor likenesses. And then saying, and if you do this, then you are one, right? So, man, I think
We kind of have that now in America.
Mhm.
All these people think these rabbit holes are real. Robert was talking to his mother-in-law, and she said, "Oh, the floods in Texas. It was from cloud seeding." And
Yeah,
I'm sitting
yeah.
there going, "Wait, this is from the 1970s.
Mhm.
This was disproven
Yeah,
50 years ago."
yeah. Sorry.
And actually, Robert was just flummoxed. He did
Yeah.
not know what to say. Because where do you go with that?
Well, he can't say anything. It's his mother-in-law.
Exactly.
He's got to
Um,
go in the kitchen and get a cream puff or something. Excuse himself from the room. That's a tough one. I've had the same kinds of relationships in my life, and it's very hard. After what I just said about letting the fool get away with what they're saying. But there's also we go back to the hiding in the corner of the roof, right? There's
yeah,
sometimes when you can't do anything. And if you can't do anything, you don't entertain it. My way of handling that, sadly, is to exit the conversation because then
well,
there's nothing Nothing can be said. Change it. Talk about something else that's more apt. But just don't engage. So if you can't help them understand, then don't promote their own process. All right, 13 through 17.
There is a lion in the street, says the idler, a lion in the square. The door turns on his hinges, the idler on his bed. Into the dish the idler dips his hand, but is too tired to bring it back to his mouth. The idler thinks himself wiser than 7 men who answer with discretion. Like catching a stray dog by the tail, so is interfering in the quarrel of others.
Yours keeps saying the what is he called? The what kind of man?
Idler. It was
Idler. Okay. Mine says sluggard.
Mine says sluggard.
Mine says lazy man.
Yeah, I'm partial to sluggard because we don't use that word anymore. It's kind of lost. I was in a conversation last week and I said, this guy's a shyster. And I had 4 people in the room look at each other like they're almost broke their neck, looking at each other like, shyster, where did that come from? Sluggard is a great word we don't use anymore. In fact, there was a cartoon character back in the 30s, right around the Mickey Mouse time, called the Sluggard. When it was back when the name was the thing. So that was sluggard, right? Yeah. I like 5 a lot. The sluggard buries his hand in a dish, but he's too lazy to bring it back to his mouth. Enough said. And the other ones are just suggestions. Like the sluggard makes excuses for themselves, making a big deal out of nothing, and then saying that's the reason why they can't do what they're doing because it's this huge thing and they can't go there. Wise in their own eyes. I know somebody right now. I dearly am fond of them, who does this and counts themselves very smart because they believe that I don't understand what they're doing. They're very clever and they're getting over because I'm not doing anything about it. And that's this thing. A slugger is wiser in his own eyes. He's wise in his own eyes. He thinks that what he's doing is just so smart and nobody knows what he's doing. And everybody knows what he's doing. He just can't see it. So, okay. How about 18 through 22? Our next group.
Okay, 18. Like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. Where there is no wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no table bearer, strife ceases. As charcoal is to burning coals and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a table bearer are like tasty trifles, and they go down to the inmost body.
So we've got mine says the first one is 18 for me is like a madman shooting firebrands or deadly arrows is a man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. So firebrands and deadly arrows are like the giveaway here. Mine is the word deadly. So what's being killed?
The relationship.
Yeah. I've done something wrong and I'm excusing myself at the expense of your well-being, your love, your caring, your desire to be honest and have a good relationship, and that will kill it. Without wood or fire goes out, without gossip, quarrel dies down. And 20 in mine, this uses the same as 22. So wood without fire goes out. Without gossip, a quarrel dies down. The words of a gossip are like a choice morsel. They go down into a man's innermost parts. So the innermost parts are the last parts. Get my drift? The gossip goes down to the innermost parts. So it becomes what it is. It is a terrible thing. Gossip is a horrible thing. We used to say that, I mean, when I was a kid, mom used to say stuff about gossip. It's only gossip, which means don't repeat it. The sad thing is we don't use the word anymore. It's been antiquated, excuse me, antiquated. Boy, I became British for a second. We don't use it, which is sad. We lose words that mean what they mean, and we don't replace them with words that mean it, and then it's gone. And so, without somebody saying all the time that gossip is bad, people start to gossip, but they don't even think about it. They don't even know what they're doing. It's what you do. I mean, think about it for a second. Sad. Last time you met your friend or met somebody on where you met them, and for one of the first things they start doing is talking about somebody who said something. And that's all that is gossip. And as we're saying, what comes before this in 26, in fact, all the way back to 1, is that it's a matter of perspective. You know, I have a perspective on what somebody told me somebody else said, which they had a perspective on when they told me. And it may have been that, and it's that person when they said it, it's their perspective. How corrupted can you get? And then what's the purpose of gossip? It's titillating, isn't it? When you have gossip, when somebody says something about somebody saying something, I know the secret, I'm in the know, and it gives me that little rush. You know, I know something. What is that? That's a cheap high, isn't it? A cheap high at somebody else's expense. There's nothing good about it. 23 through 28. Who's up? Is that you, Sue?
I'll do it.
Right.
Like a glazed finish on earthenware are smooth lips with a wicked heart. With his lips an enemy pretends, but in his inmost being he maintains deceit. When he speaks graciously, trust him not, for 7 abominations are in his heart. A man may conceal hatred under dissimulation, but his malice will be revealed in the assembly. He who digs a pit falls into it, and the stone comes back upon him who rolls it. The lying tongue is its owner's enemy, and the flattering mouth works ruin.
Yeah. All good. More illumination. One would say condemnation. I like to think of it as illumination. All these things we already know, right? That's what we used to call this the silver-tongued devil. That silver-tongued devil. He's got that what do they call it? That kerf in his hair, that little, and he's all stylish, and he's got that great tone that just rolls off, and he curls his R's, and people believe him, and then they find out he ripped him off. Who's the most famous rip-off guy that you can think of? Famous, so famous for him. They were chasing him around, trying to catch him. He had a friend who sold anvils. He's the Music Man, the original Flim Flam Man. He would get him into the town, and he was so melodic. He would speak it. He would get everybody excited. He'd have them buy all those instruments. He'd gather all the money. It'd be all this trick, and then he'd get on the train and ride away. And that was it. You know, looked good, sounded good, acted good, everything good, all for nothing. I'm actually trapped in that right now. I've got somebody I'm working with right now that I've been trying to get a hold of. They're giving me every excuse in the book, and I'm afraid. I haven't written him off yet, but I'm afraid that this is exactly what he is. He is the Flim Flam Man, and he was smooth. A malicious man disguises himself with his lips, but in his heart is deceit. Speech is charming, right? Same thing, flim flam man. Malice may be concealed by deception, but his wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. So that's the flim flam man again. That's the music man. Once he gets away with what he gets away with, and the assembly gets together, it'll all start to make sense. Everybody will go, oh no, you know what? I saw him do that. I heard that. I see this, but it's too late. A lying tongue hates those who it hurts, and the flattering mouth works ruin. So there's we tend to think oftentimes that there's no, I like this word malice. What word is yours, Carolee, in 26? His what?
Hatred may well disguise itself with guile, only to unmask its spite before the community.
Right, good words. What about yours, Steve?
26.
Yep.
Though his hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness will be revealed before the assembly.
And yours, Sue?
A man may conceal hatred under dissimulation, but his malice will be revealed in the assembly.
Simulation is a great word too. He's got some great words here. Mine has malice. His malice may be concealed by deception, but his wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. If a man digs, okay, so we have, it is premeditated, right? He hates behind his words. His goodness is hate. What did the music man hate? What was the music man's malice? He was such a nice guy. What was it? Do you remember? He was so smart, and the people were so stupid. He couldn't stand them because they were stupid. And he got away with stuff because they were. And they should be stole. They should be robbed. He should steal from them because they're stupid. And he hates stupid people. So it's not wrong to do what he's doing. Maybe it'll teach him a lesson. Maybe they'll wise up. Behind his little charade is hate. It's malice. It's premeditated. So if you get the person to where they'll finally see this, the beautiful thing that God does when we have stuff like this, if the person who is afflicted this way can read it and understand it, again, when I say to people all the time, it's peeling the onion. I said it already tonight. Once I do this thing, realizing that I do this thing is not the issue, is not the lesson, it's not the revelation. Realizing that I do this thing just points me to the revelation. The revelation is, why do I do this thing? So if I say, oh, I do that all the time. Oh yeah, let's go to lunch. That's nothing. You've done nothing. You've just confirmed that you do it all the time. The gift that God has given you is the revelation in that moment to look inside and say, why do I do it all the time? If I don't go to that place, I'll just do it again. And then I'll say, oh, I do this all the time. And then I go to lunch. So we stop too soon. We stop once we get the lesson and we don't carry it on. And that's the gift. All the scriptures like this, whether they seemingly say something that's mean or otherly, is actually part of God's gift. If I don't like what this says, this is what we did last Sunday. This is the sermon last Sunday. I don't like what God said here. I don't like it. It's mean. Okay, yeah, good. That's great. But unless you find out why you don't like it, then it means nothing. I don't like it. It's emotion. I don't like it. It makes me feel bad. It makes me angry. Well, whoopee, good, great. Woo-hoo. That doesn't do anything. I've got to find out why it upsets me. What is it? What is it? And that is a deep hole. It's not simply because I don't like injustice or I don't like this. No. That's, you're just doing it again. You're taking an emotional thing and you're explaining it by an emotional thing. It's a circular argument.
And so many times it comes down to things that are so personal where the person doesn't like it because they were hurt by something else way long ago. And that's where it comes into asking God to help with forgiveness and acceptance.
Yep. Thank you. That is a wonderful ending message. So many times our disdain and our desire or our inability to go down to that next step is because we're hurt and we don't want to go there because we know that place is a place of hurt and we don't want to do it. And that's, again, we're going to go back to scripture. That's why Jesus died for you and me, so that we can go to that place of pain. Once we realize we have it and we're brave enough to open it up, we can go to that place of pain and find consolation and forgiveness. That's God's gift. Without it, he's just a guy died on a cross and pretty stupid for it. That's the depth. Always look for the depth in the message. Always the good news, like I said last week. All right, guys, this was great. Like I say, best night of the week. I hope that you have a wonderful sleep, wonderful, good, peaceful evening, and whatever you're going to be doing, and you wake up all refreshed and ready to go.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. God bless you all. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Night.